Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're back with another Deadlock video. We got a huge, absolutely huge balance patch today. Little bit of a shock. We didn't think this was coming until the 6 heroes got released in the new update. But it turns out we're actually getting it a little early. Kind of dropped today out of nowhere, and it's kind of a big one. So we're going to kind of go over the main bullet points here and hit on the stuff that's important. There's a lot of stuff in here that's kind of like, oh, minor changes, 2-second cooldown changes, things like that for ults. That stuff like that doesn't matter. Well, I mean it does, but just not to me at this time. We're gonna hit on the main points here and kind of the big, changes here that are gonna affect the majority of you guys and kind of, the ranks and different things like that. The biggest things that I think are gonna kind of mess with the meta, because as you guys know, we've been in a really heavy gun meta. We were in that spirit nuke meta for a while. We've been in a really heavy gun meta for a while here, and it seems like they're trying to kind of pull us out of that. So we're gonna kind of jump into the first couple things here. So one, we've got hero banning. So each team is gonna be able to ban one hero every game. That goes for the regular game mode as well as the street brawl game mode. Both game modes you get to ban a hero. So heroes such as Mina. If you want to ban her every game. We'll kind of get into the nerfs. Hint hint. Mina did get nerfed. Is it enough? Probably not. But we'll kind of get into that here in a minute. One big thing. So fire rate deductions kind of all around. Jumping into the buy here. So if we jump into like rapid rounds, that went from 10 to 9, Swift Striker 20 to 18, Burst Fire 35 to 32. Capacitor stayed relatively the same. Ricochet got a 2% nerf. Spiritual Overflow, I believe, got a 3% nerf, if I'm not mistaken. Spellslinger got a 1% nerf per stack. Overall, Glass Cannon got a 1% nerf. Also, Glass Cannon got a max health percentage nerf as well. It went from minus 12% health to minus 15. A lot of not big, a lot of pretty substantial nerfs to the gun side. It looks like they're trying to kind of bring gun out of the meta here. Slowing bullets got a big buff. It went from a 7% fire rate, or 7 or 8%, I don't remember exactly, to a 15% weapon damage increase. On top of that, it reduces the the dash distance, the slow duration is longer, and the build up per shot's a little bit faster. Overall, big buff for slowing bullets there. Lucky Shot got a big nerf. It went from 110% bonus weapon damage to 100, as well as plus 40% ammo to plus 30. Lucky Shot was one of those, to me, it was a late game purchase anyway. Obviously, now at some point, maybe you pick something else over Lucky Shot. We'll kind of see how it plays and see if it's still decent there. Capacitor changes. We went from, you'll notice here on the active, it's now a 40-second cooldown. It was a 50-second cooldown, so the cooldown came down. And then you'll also notice down there at the bottom that slow duration there is now 3 seconds. It used to be 4. So a little bit of a rework on that side. Obviously, overall a nerf, but the cooldown is shortened a little bit. Fury Trance, this is one that hurts me, obviously. It got a nerf here. It got a nerf to, if I'm not mistaken, a fire rate nerf. It went from 40 to 35. And then it also got a bullet lifesteal nerf. So bullet lifesteal, 16% bullet lifesteal. Fury Trance is now 18, which, what's Vamp? Vamp is still 16. Fury Trance used to be 22, and it got dropped to 18. Honestly, I didn't really see Fury Trance ran that often besides on like someone like Haze. So that might just pull it out completely. You go straight from bullet lifesteal to either like a leech or a vamp burst, depending on your build. At least that's my opinion. We'll see how it plays out. Resto Locket got a huge buff. Resto Locket, couple different things happened. So Spirit Resist went up. The cooldown went down. And then also it can only be self-cast. So that's the one thing that kind of got nerfed on it. But everything else got buffed. Spirit Resist, cooldown, and everything like that. And it will replenish up to 3 stamina based on how many stacks you have. So if you have full 20 stacks, you're going to get 3 full stamina back, which is a huge buff to Resto Lock it. When my opinion on it is it was super weak beforehand. I never really used it. So that's kind of cool there. And then one big one here is Stamina Mastery. Stamina Mastery got a big nerf on this side. Stamina recovery was reduced. Air jump and dash distance got reduced and everything like that. So kind of jumping into some of the others here that I want to pull over. Couple big ones here. So metal skin cooldown. And then bullet and spirit resilience buff. Debuff remover is now called Dispel Magic. It no longer builds from debuff reducer. No longer grants debuff resistance. Instead, you get spirit resistance. You don't get the 100 HP, and your mood speed bonus is reduced. Unstoppable now builds. Obviously, it still already did before, but debuff resistance, I believe, only builds into Unstoppable now. No, also look at this. It builds into Spellbreaker. Makes it a little bit easier to build Spellbreaker, but check this out. Spirit resistance reduced from 25 to 18%. That hurts. I would honestly say Spirit Resilience is going to be the way to go now instead of Spellbreaker. I think that'll pull Spellbreaker out of the meta unless they make some changes to it. Big buff to Inhibitor. Nerf to Bullet Resist Shredder. It seems like there's a nerf to Shred. Well, a Bullet Shred at least overall. Some different changes on the hitboxes. Different changes. Echo Shard change. Spirit Burn changes. Here's the big meta changing one. Renamed Cursed. It no longer gives you weapon damage, and you have a minus 8% total damage penalty while holding this item. This is a support only item now, in my opinion. Your carries will not have this item anymore. This is not a haze item. This is strictly a support item now. Into the characters. Abrams, it seems like we got a gun nerf. Bullet damage reduced. Siphon T3. A little bit of a rework there. Yeah, so it looks like overall a little bit of rework on the spirit side, a gun nerf overall. Bebop's a little interesting here, especially with the debuff remover changes. Uppercut T3 no longer gives you ammo. Here's big one here. So Sticky Bomb stacks now diminish after 60 hits and 7 kills rather than 110. And then 2, here's the big one. Sticky Bomb now drops on the ground and continues counting down when dispelled. So debuff remover doesn't delete the bomb anymore. It just drops it on the ground. So technically, if you don't get it off fast enough, you can still be hit by it, and it can still hit your teammates, which is going to be interesting to play around. I think overall, this is a Bebop buff. On top of that, though, no longer be self-cast. And then they adjusted the damage. Billy got a gun nerf, but there were some item adjustments to the melee items that kind of gives them a buff on the melee side. So we'll kind of see how that plays. Some changes here to Drifter. Some Grey Talon changes. Ivy changes. Kelvin changes. Some kind of basic spirit increase, duration increase, things like that. Lash has a weird one here. Rotation is restricted to 90 degrees instead of 360 degrees on the slam. So there is no like diving one way and then spinning halfway through and slamming. You can only spin 90 degrees now. It's going to be pretty interesting. Lash kind of got nerfed pretty hard here. Fixed some bugs with him. Cooldown got reduced, which is kind of nice. But then Flog got nerfed on that. And I thought I seen somewhere where his slam got nerfed. I could be wrong on that one. Mina, this is kind of the big one. This is the most broken character in the game. I was expecting big nerfs here. They did nothing to remove speed. Literally nothing. Stamina cooldown increased from 3.6 to 3.9 seconds. She got her stamina back too quick. In my opinion, she still does. It is still the fastest in the game. Her heal got reduced. Love Bite's spirit power scaling reduced by a little bit. And then Love Bite's T3 reduced from -2 stamina to -1. Overall, a nerf. I honestly think that it's not enough. I think she's still going to be the... Mina got nerfed from the best pick character in the game. They nerfed her into the best character in the game, in my opinion. Some page changes. Shiv, Victor, This is an interesting one to me. So Viscous got, in my opinion, gutted. Spirit boon increased, so they increased his spirit scaling, which is fine. He hasn't been played as a spirit character in a couple months anyway. He's been a gun character. They murdered his gun damage, right? And if I'm not mistaken, that nerfs his melee damage. The cube T3 no longer removes ult debuffs, and then his puddle punch also got nerfed. So they nerfed his puddle punch, they nerfed his cube, they killed his gun damage, and then they slightly buffed his spirit. In my opinion, they just absolutely destroyed Viscous. We'll see. I could be completely wrong here. Viper seemed to have got us some changes, more changes rather than nerfs or buffs. I think overall it's a good thing, but we'll kind of see as we go. Vindicta, also kind of a weird one. People are going to argue whether this is a buff or a nerf. Assassinate now grants plus 5% weapon damage per kill rather than bonus souls. This to me is a clear-cut nerf. Plus 5 weapon damage is fine. The big thing with Vindicta was she'd get a couple snipes in lane and she would snowball with all those souls. Can't really do that anymore. So, in my opinion, yeah, she's going to do some more weapon damage, but she's not going to snowball with items and souls like she would before. In my opinion, this is a big nerf. And then bullet damage on Warden, growth reduced from 0.47 to 0.44, so a slight nerf on Gun Warden. But overall, that's kind of where they're sticking with that. Street Brawl, there's some changes. I don't really play Street Brawl. So that doesn't really matter to me much. If you like Street Brawl, obviously this will be awesome for you. But other than that, these are kind of the changes that we're going over here. Bunch of new stuff, bunch of new changes. Some really cool, big gun nerfs, things like that. I'm really excited to jump in and play it. But other than that, I really appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and we will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.